Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's official. Yes, I'm there with you with the unit number 1 of BEE, that is Basic Electrical Engineering. This is the topic which we are going to see, that is electromagnetism. So thanks for showing very great response for my one shots of SME. So keep your love and support till the end. And yes, let's start with the unit number 1 of BEE, that is electromagnetism. So what is electromagnetism? Yes, it is a fundamental force of nature that deals with the interaction between electric charges and magnets. It describes how electric currents create magnetic fields. We have learnt it, right? And how moving magnets or changing magnetic field induce electric currents. So in simple terms, it is the study of relationship between electricity and magnetism. So this is our first unit. So let us go ahead and see what all other topics and what we have to cover in this one shot. I have taken my handwritten notes throughout the video. So please refer these notes only. If you want, I'll give it in description also. So let's get started. So the first important thing in this unit is definitions. You must remember the definitions which I am going to tell you, which are important. Okay. So let's get started with the first definition, that is magnetic flux. The very first definition. So what is magnetic flux? Yes, it is denoted by phi. So it is defined as magnetic flux is defined as the total number of line of force in magnetic field. Remember the key points which I have underlined also, you can see. So total number of line of force. Okay. Remember this thing, you can make out the sentence on your own only. So magnetic flux is defined as the total number of line of force in the magnetic field, and it is denoted by phi and measured in Weber, as it is as its SI unit is Weber. Okay. So at the end, after writing this definition in exam, if such question arise, if after writing definition you have to mention the formula also. This is the key point which you have to remember. Just leaving the definition, it will not give you the complete marks. You have to write the formula also. Okay. So what is the formula for magnetic flux? It is phi equal to B into A. Now what is B? B is magnetic flux density, which you can see is the second definition, and A is the area. Okay. So I hope you understood what is magnetic flux. It is nothing but the total number of line of force in magnetic field. Alright, let us go to second definition, which is magnetic flux density. Okay, it is denoted by B. Now how we can define it? Flux per unit area. Now the trick, I would say you to remember this formula. Just remember what is density. What is density? Anything per unit area, right? So flux per unit area, as we are dealing with the magnetic flux over here, just remember I have told you about density. So just flux per unit area measured in a plane perpendicular to the flux. As density is measured perpendicular to the plane, similar concept. Just write flux per unit area measured in a plane perpendicular to the flux is nothing but flux density. Easy? Yes. Now what is how it is denoted? Write that, a simple sentence. It is denoted by B, and what is its SI unit? It is Weber per meter square. Why? See, phi by A is the formula, that is B is equal to phi by A. How to remember the formula? Simply remember what is density. Phi flux per unit area. Okay, the definition is only giving you the formula also. So phi is measured, as we said, it is its SI unit is Weber, and area we all know its SI unit is meter square. So the SI unit of magnetic flux density becomes Weber per meter square. Okay, clear? Let us go ahead. The third definition, it is magnetic field strength, or we can say magnetic field intensity. Both the names are have same meaning. If any like magnetic field strength is asked to you or magnetic field intensity is asked to you, the same definition and the same formula is there. Okay. Yes, it is denoted as H. Okay. Now the magnetic field strength at a point in magnetic field is defined as, now how we are defining it, see. The magnetic field strength at a point in magnetic field is defined as the force experienced by a unit north pole. Now here remember unit north pole. Okay. If you remember these keywords also, now you are able to write the sentence. What I'm saying you, just focus on the force experienced by a unit north pole which is placed at that point in the magnetic field. So this magnetic field strength or magnetic field intensity is nothing but the force experienced by unit north pole. Okay, I hope you are learning also with me only. So just remember what I'm saying you, and you will be able to write everything in exam if such a question arises. Okay, now what is SI unit of magnetic field strength? It is ampere turn per meter. Okay, before going to SI unit, let us see what is the formula. H, as a magnetic field strength is denoted by H, we are going to write its formula as N into I by L. You have to remember this. What is N? Number of lines of force, and I is current, and the below L is nothing but the length of conductor. Okay, so N is number of turns, I is current here. So number of turns are there na. So as we all know, current SI unit is ampere and number of turns is there, so we will write ampere turn. That AT is nothing but ampere turn, and length is denoted by meter, its unit is meter, so we will write meter. So ampere turn per meter is the SI unit for magnetic field strength. Okay, you can also write ampere per meter, it is also correct, but the more precise if you have to write, it is ampere turn per meter. So I hope you understood these three definitions of magnetic flux density, and magnetic field strength. Let us see what is there. Yes, EMF is there. We have learned EMF. Yes, it is related to electric circuit, but we have to know this because the further concept is related to this. So first understand what is EMF. Yes, it is electromotive force. Then what is its definition? Here, an electrical force required to move electron in a particular direction inside a conductor is called as EMF. How you can define it? It is just an force, or we can say an electrical force which is required to move electron, and the movement of electron is nothing but current. So how we can define an electrical force required to move electron in a particular direction only inside a conductor, that is nothing but EMF. Now what is the unit of EMF? We can denote it by potential energy per unit charge. Okay, we can also write its definition like it is nothing but the potential energy per unit charge. And yes, it is a force. We don't have to write its unit as Newton. Remember, we have learned it in our lower classes also, but still I am remembering you because most of the people do the same mistake every time. So what is EMF? SI unit is nothing but volt. Okay, remember volt. Then EMF is not a force, I have written, and measured in terms of potential energy per unit charge, that is voltage. Okay, so that is EMF. Now the further topic which I told you is basically MMF. So this is related to magnetic circuit. Why I told you about EMF? So you will be familiar with MMF very easily now. So what is the full form of MMF? It is magnetomotive force. Then what is it? See, as EMF was nothing but the electrical force required to move electron in particular direction, here MMF is nothing but the force which is responsible for the flow of flux. Remember, we never generate a flux, or flux cannot be generated, it is just the flow. Okay, flux has only flow, it is not generated. So remember how we can define MMF. It is defined as the force responsible for flow of flux, or we can say generation of flux. Okay, generation of flux is not that much precise if we know the further topics. So it's okay, just remember what is the definition. It is nothing but the force responsible for flow of flux or generation of flux. Easy. Now what is the formula? Remember, this formula is very important, and numericals are asked on these small formulas only. They test how you can remember your formulas and how much you can remember. So just remember what is this. MMF is nothing but N into I, that is number of turns into current, that is ampere turn. Okay, the SI unit will become ampere turn. So N is number of turns and I is current, that is nothing but MMF, magnetomotive force. Okay, understood? Now let us go ahead. What is reluctance? I hope we all have studied what is resistance in electric circuit. Yes, it is the obstacle in the flow of current, right? Just the same thing in magnetic circuit. What is reluctance? It is defined as the opposition to the flow of flux. Just remember the electric circuit formula, and which is the second chapter I know, or second unit. So just if you studied this unit well now, you are going to learn unit 2 very easily, because the same concept is there in electric circuit also, but just like here I am using flux, in the place of flux I will be using current over there. Here I am using MMF, there I will be using EMF. So such a difference is there. So I am taking unit number 1 as one shot today, so you will be understanding this topic easily, so then unit 2 will be super easy for all of you. Okay, now I hope you have understood what is reluctance. It is defined as the opposition to the flow of flux in material. Okay, now what is its formula? Very important thing. There are two formulas of reluctance over here I have written. The first one is mmf upon phi. Phi is our magnetic flux. Okay, so S is defined as mmf upon phi, or we can say magnetomotive force per unit flux. Okay, so mmf formula we have learnt now only, which is Ni, that is number of turns into current. Just put in it, the formula is in front of you. What is reluctance, or as I have told you, S is the symbol for reluctance. So S is equal to Ni upon phi. Okay, so this is the formula, which is also very important. Just mark these formulas which I am saying you are important, and practice numericals. Some of the numericals I have also taken in short, so you will be remembering these. Okay, then S is equal to Ni by phi is the one formula. Then what is its SI unit? By this formula you can make out. N is number of turns, I is current. What it will become? It will become ampere turn, and phi is Weber, so ampere turn per Weber is the SI unit of reluctance. Now the second formula of reluctance, remember, S or reluctance is directly proportional to L by A, that is length of conductor upon area of cross section. So here, if we remove the proportionality sign, K is the constant which I am adding, so that K is nothing but 1 upon mu. Now here K is the constant. So how we will write the constant? K is equal to 1 by mu over here. So as that is reluctance will become L upon mu A. What is mu here? Mu is the permeability. Okay, I have that concept further. These all definitions are also very important. So what we have learned in previous classes, mu is nothing but mu naught into mu r. What is mu naught now? Absolute permeability, and mu r is relative permeability. Okay, so just substitute mu as mu naught into mu r, and the formula, second formula of reluctance is in front of you, that is S is equal to L upon mu naught, mu r and A. So when relative permeability is given in the numerical or question, you can say that time you have to use this formula. Otherwise, if mmf is given or I current and all are given, so that time you will use the first formula. So according to the given data, you have to choose the formula upon both. Okay, now let us see what is permeance. Now as we study resistance in electric current or electric circuit, we also study conductance after that. What is conductance? It is reciprocal of resistance, right? Now here the same thing we are going to study. What is permeance? It is nothing but the reciprocal of reluctance. So as we studied reluctance, now this permeance is nothing but the reciprocal of reluctance, and we can write its formula as 1 by S, and its SI unit will become the same reciprocal, that is Weber per ampere turn. I hope you understood these both, reluctance and permeance. Now let us go to permeability. This is also a separate question which is asked, like what is permeability? Explain, write all the three definitions and types of the permeability. So remember this question also. So what is permeability? Its definition you can write like, it is the ability of material to carry flux lines. So what is the ability of material? It may be different for different things. So it is nothing but the ability of material, that how much lines of flux it can carry. So I hope you understood the definition. Now there are three types of permeability. The first is absolute permeability, then permeability of free space or vacuum, and the third is relative permeability. Now you have to remember the first, second, third formulas which or definitions I have explained you now. Let us see what is absolute permeability. Yes, it is denoted by mu, and it is the ratio of magnetic flux density. The second definition which we denoted by B. Okay, so the ratio of magnetic flux density in a particular medium other than vacuum or air, because if it is vacuum or air, it will become the permeability of free space or vacuum. So remember, the ratio of magnetic flux density in particular medium to the magnetic field strength is defined as absolute permeability of that material. Now instead of learning and reciting this definition, just remember the formula and you can write the definition on your own. What is mu? It is B upon H. What is B now? Magnetic flux density, and H is magnetic field strength. So their ratio is nothing but absolute permeability. Now its unit is difficult to find mathematically. So just remember its unit is Henry per meter. Okay, so Henry per meter, its value is also there. So just for that time, just remember what is the unit and what is the formula. So absolute permeability is B upon H. Now let us see what is permeability of free space or vacuum. We denote it by mu naught. Okay, now if the medium in which magnet is kept in air or vacuum, then the ratio of flux density and magnetic field strength is defined as permeability of free space or vacuum. So here just we have to replace the medium. Here the medium is air or vacuum. Okay, then the formulas are same, but just we are replacing the medium by air. So if the medium is air or vacuum, that time we write mu naught, which is equal to B naught upon H. Okay, the SI unit is same, that is Henry per meter. Now relative permeability. What is relative permeability? Now it is defined as the ratio of flux density in particular medium produced by a magnet, remember, to the flux density in air or vacuum by the same magnet under the identical operating conditions. Imagine you have a magnet and first you are checking its permeability in a particular medium, and then you are checking its permeability in free space or vacuum, and then if you are taking its ratio, it is your relative permeability. I hope you understood. It is just B upon B naught. Okay, remember flux density. So mu r is equal to B upon B naught, and if we write the formula of absolute and permeability of free space, that is mu h upon mu naught h. H will get cancelled out and mu r will become mu upon mu naught, which is mu equal to mu naught into mu r. This formula we have used in reluctance second formula, remember. So for air, relative permeability is 1. So this is the one question, a separate question which can be asked in your exams. So remember these, what is permeability and 3 types of permeability with their definition and formula. Remember, you have to write the formula. In BEE it is compulsory. If you are writing any definition, you have to write its formula also, and if you are writing SI unit, it is the complete answer. Okay, now let us go ahead. Now this is very prominent question which is asked in exam papers. What is similarities and dissimilarities in electric circuit and magnetic circuit? So this is very important question. Mark it if you have not marked. In this question, see, this question has asked, like for I have written also 4 points of similarities you have to write and 2 points of differences you have to write, and the whole question comes for 6 marks. So it is important question, right? Now let us go ahead, see what is there in this. So we are seeing electric circuit and magnetic circuit. The very first point, you have to draw the diagram. So what is the diagram of electric circuit? Just make a circuit, denote resistance and then key, battery and the flow of current from positive to negative terminal, remember, and that is your electric circuit. Now what is your magnetic circuit? Just make a conductor in which the flux is there. You can see the flux, and then battery is there, that is current is flowing from positive to negative. What is the flow? That is flux. Okay, just to practice these both diagrams of electric circuit and magnetic circuit, and you will be covering the first point of the question. Now the second point, what you have to write? You have to write the definition of current or closed path for current. What is electric circuit? It is closed path for current, remember. And what is magnetic circuit? It is the closed path for flux. Okay, so this is the definition, or we can say the second point. In similarities, then third point, current flows through the circuit. We all know the simple, very simple points are there, and you can see that how much easily we are covering all our 4 to 6 points. So just remember what I am saying you, the flow you have to remember, first the diagram, then the second you have to write about what is the circuit. Electric circuit is there, so what is it? It is the closed path for circuit. Magnetic circuit, closed path for flux. Then the third, you have to mention the definition for current. As I have written over here, current flows through the circuit over here. Here you can also write the definition of current, that is flow of electrons and all is current. Okay, then write the formula of current. I is equal to V by R by Ohm's law, remember. Then the third point, in magnetic circuit you can write flux is generated through the circuit. Okay, here current is flowing, here flux is not flowing, here is flux generating. So flux is generated through the circuit, and the formula of flux that we have written in mmf. So you can write over here mmf upon S, that is reluctance. Reluctance is mmf upon phi, remember. So just substitute or just replace both the values of S and phi, and you will get the formula for phi, which is mmf upon S or Ni upon S. So here 3 points are covered. Now let us go to fourth point. You can write current is opposed by resistance, and in magnetic circuit flux is opposed by reluctance. Okay, these all basic points you have to write. Then fifth point, just write about the R that is resistance, it is V upon I or EMF upon I. And the other formula also we know about resistivity, in which resistivity is included, R is equal to rho, that is resistivity L by I. Okay, so these are the formulas which we all know in electric circuit resistance. Now here we have to write about reluctance. So S is equal to MMF upon phi and S is equal to L upon mu naught mu R A. Now only I have derived these both formulas for you. Okay, now further sixth point you can write about conductance. We have written about resistance. Now let's come to conductance. The conductance in electric circuit is denoted by G, right? Now it is the reciprocal of resistance, we all know. The same in magnetic circuit, write about permeance. Okay, we are comparing here both of the thing. So permeance is equal to 1 upon S, that is 1 upon reluctance. Now the seventh point. Now here I have written 4 points of similarities and 2 points of differences you have to write in question, but I have given you more. If any of the one by chance if you are not remembering, you can write any of these. So the 7th point I have written about current density. I have told you how to remember density by the area, right, per unit area. So here current density is there, so current per unit area. Okay, easily remember these formulas. Then flux density you can write as flux per unit area. So write there SI unit and your point is over. Now 8th, we apply KCL and KVL, Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law, remember. Then in 8th point in magnetic circuit, here we apply Kirchhoff's flux law. Remember, current is corresponding to flux in magnetic circuit and voltage is corresponding to MMF in magnetic circuit. So here we apply Kirchhoff's flux law and Kirchhoff's MMF law. Then 9th point, here define EMF and MMF. These points I have covered right now only. What is EMF? Force required to the flow of current, and MMF is force required for generation of flux. Okay, now these all were similarities which you have to write. Now the other question is there for dissimilarities also. Remember, when you are attempting this type of question, mention what are the similarities and then below mention what are the differences. Like here I have made different column for differences or dissimilarities. So such a question will give you complete marks. Okay, don't mix up all similarities and dissimilarities together. Now here, what is dissimilarities in electric and magnetic circuit? The very first point you can write, in electric circuit current actually flows, and in magnetic circuit flux is imaginary lines. Would you ever seen what is flux? No, it is just a flux, is nothing but a imaginary lines, and for indication of magnetic field from north to south pole. So the flux is just a indication for magnetic field, remember. So this was the difference, first difference. Second difference, you can write insulation is required in current. Okay, we all know. Okay, so this insulation is required in current in electric circuit and insulation is not required in magnetic circuit. Then third point, you can write current cannot pass through air and flux can pass through air because air is permeable to flux. Air is not permeable to current, but air is permeable to flux. This is the third dissimilarity. Now the last one, fourth, we have to write about resistance. If you don't remember these three, I will say the first two are very easy to remember. As we are just saying that current is flowing, here flux is not flow anything, it is just imaginary lines. Second, you can write about insulation. Fourth, if by chance you don't remember these 2 points, remember this: resistance is almost constant in any medium and reluctance is not constant, as it depends on permeability, which is dependent on the medium. Okay, so these are the points which you have to remember. I will share this PDF with in my description, so if you want to revise also, you can consider it. Okay, now let us go ahead. Now here, shape and direction of magnetic field for straight conductor. We have studied cross convection, then dot convection. The same thing is here. This is also a type of question which was asked before. So remember how you have to write. First of all, you have to say like whenever a long straight conductor, you have to define about how the straight conductor is there and how the current flows, how we can identify the direction of current and all. Just mention that. So what I am saying, remember this. Whenever a long straight conductor carries current, it is always surrounded by a magnetic field. Okay, the lines of force form concentric circles in the planes which are of right angle to conductor, and direction of lines of force depends on the direction of current. Okay, then you can make the diagram like a plane of paper is there and a conductor is there in between, and you can show the current is moving in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. Then you have to show this cross convection and dot convection. This you have to show. This is very important. So how you can explain about cross convection? You have to draw this diagram like here I have written written of clockwise direction. So just write the definition as, if the current flowing through conductor is moving away from the observer and into the plane of paper, like you can show that type of figure, and then this current direction is indicated by cross, and this is cross convection. Okay, just explain in short. Then what is dot convection? It is the current which is flowing through the conductor and it is moving towards the observer or coming out of the paper of plane of paper. Then this current direction is indicated by a dot. Okay, so this is how you can explain the direction of magnetic field for straight conductor. I hope you understood. Now here the topic is there about composite magnetic circuit. See, it is not that much important, just one time it was asked in some paper. So just remember this diagram and just remember the derivation. It is very simple. Remember, if you remember MMF formula and reluctance formula also, you are able to solve this. So just remember this diagram. If you want, you can take the screenshot also. Your composite magnetic circuit is there. You have to make 3 types of blocks, A, B and C, and just you have to show the flux which is flowing through them, and you have to show here the magnetic circuit. Okay, and here positive and negative terminal of battery is there and current is flowing from positive to negative terminal. Just write, this is the series magnetic circuit without air gap. Here air gap is not present. 2 types are there, with air gap and without air gap. So first we are seeing about without air gap. So how we can write here? S is reluctance, remember, S1 A, S2 B, S3 C. What they are denoting? We are denoting the blocks which we have drawn in the diagram, A, B and C. So S here is reluctance and S1, S2, S3 are for A, B and C blocks. Now S total will become S1 plus S2 plus S3. So ST, as S total reluctance is equal to MMF upon phi. Okay, we all know this formula. So what will become MMF? Just arrange the formula, you will get MMF is equal to S total into phi. Okay, now take this phi outside and substitute the value of S total, which is S1 plus S2 plus S3. Now remember the second formula of reluctance which I have given to you, that is L upon mu naught mu r A. Just write mu naught mu r as mu only and substitute over here. So phi is as it is. Now S1 will become L1 upon mu 1 A1. Okay, remember to denote it by 1, 2 and 3. So you will make out the difference. For S2 write L2 upon mu 2 A2 and S3 write L3 upon mu 3 A3. Okay, now see, I have circled what you have to remember. What is phi by A? We have written this definition. What is phi by A? Yes, it is B, that is electric flux density. So just substitute it, L1 into B1 upon mu 1 plus L2 B2 upon mu 2 plus L3 B3 upon mu 3 after taking phi and multiplying it by all of the 3 components inside the bracket. Till here I think it is easy. Now what is B upon mu? That is flux density upon permeability. It is H, that is electric field intensity. So just to substitute, you will get the final formula as MMF is equal to H1 L1 plus H2 L2 plus H3 L3. This is the final formula which you have to write, and this is the derivation. It is very easy, but chances of coming of it is not that much. So just remember, this is the point, so we have to cover it. So what is series magnetic circuit without air gap? You have to show it like that. Just 2, 3 or formulas are there. You have to just rearrange them, substitute them, and you have to just show this MMF is equal to H1 L1 plus H2 L2 plus H3 L3. Okay, now let us go further. Now here with air gap, series magnetic circuit with air gap. Now I will I will tell you what are the important topics. Here in this series and parallel we are going to study. So the derivation is not that much important, but yes, the difference between series and parallel magnetic circuit is important. So first let us see this, and we will then go to the comparison of both of them. Here I have made the diagram of series magnetic circuit with air gap. Here you have to make air gap. You can see the air gap which I have mentioned, the length Lg, that is length of gap. Okay, so here gap is present in the circuit, otherwise the circuit is same. The flux is generated, then magnetic circuit is there, current is flowing. Okay, the whole length we will consider it as Li. I here is of iron, because most of the time this conductor is of iron. So Li is the length of the whole conductor and Lg is the length of the gap. Okay, Now here also you have to make the same difference, like ST is equal to SI plus SG, because here we have taken I and G as the two components. So here the same thing, S total is equal to MMF upon phi. Same, MMF is equal to S into phi. So phi and phi is nothing but here S total is nothing but SI plus SG. So what is SI? Now you have to substitute Li upon mu AI and plus Lg upon mu Ag. Okay, here G is gap and I is iron, remember. Now just by doing the same thing, finally you will get MMF is equal to HI Li plus Hg Lg. Follow the same steps as I have told you about series magnetic circuit without air gap. Okay, the same steps are there, just the naming I can say it is different. Okay, this formula is important. Sometimes numericals are asked on this formula also. So MMF is equal to HI Li plus Hg Lg. This is the final answer for this derivation. Now let us come to parallel magnetic circuit without air gap. So here parallel magnetic circuit without air gap, it is not asked now till now. So just consider it as a topic and see what is the diagram. Here you have parallel magnetic circuit. Both of the circuits are parallel and you can see the magnetic circuit in between. Okay, current is moving from positive to negative, and remember the straight lines in BEE or electrical engineering. This straight line is considered as limb and the horizontal line is considered as yoke. Okay, so don't go in such a detail. If you are a computer student and all, the electrical students should know this. Okay, now phi 1 is the flux which is generated in A, B, C and D. Okay, so now here in between the total phi will be phi 1 plus phi 2. Okay, now L1 S1 will equal to, that is length and reluctance of A, B, C and D, and L2 S2 resembles A, F, E and D, and AD which is the between, which is in between, you can see it is LC and SC. We will denote it by LC, that is length of center, and SC reluctance of center. Now let us see how we can derive it. MMF is equal to S into phi, same formula. So now here MMF we are taking of A, B, C, D block. So it will be S1 phi 1 and we will denote it by F, force 1. Okay, and AFED S2 phi 2 F2. Okay, denoted by F2. Then AD which is of center, FC will be equal to phi SC and phi, because phi 1 plus phi 2 is phi. So here MMF, we have to total the MMF by MMF of ABCD plus MMF of AD. If we are taking here, see, remember this diagram, you can write the labeling according to it. Then just write S1 phi 1 plus SC phi, or if I am taking MMF of AFED, that block, that time I have to consider S2 phi 2 plus SC phi. Okay, so among these two formulas, one of the formula you have to write. But if you write or, it is good. Just write S1 phi 1 plus SC phi or S2 phi 2 plus SC phi. At a time you have to consider a single block only. So this was the derivation for parallel magnetic circuit without air gap. Then parallel magnetic circuit with air gap. Here I have shown you. So this is the diagram for it, and air gap is shown in between. Just remember the topic, you can write draw the diagram as that only. So without air gap and with air gap, just mark this difference. Here air gap is not present and here air gap is present. Okay, same, nothing is changed here. Okay, now phi 1 and phi 2 are same over here. Now here just you have to write this formula. I have written the final formula, that is MMF is equal to MMF of ABCD block. See the diagram, ABCD block plus AG. AG is the center above the air gap, plus MMF of GD below the air gap. Okay, this is the formula. Or you can write, if you are considering the another block, you can write MMF of AFED plus MMF of AG and plus MMF of GD. Okay, simple. This is only the concept of it. Now the very important thing, this question, that is difference in series magnetic circuit and parallel magnetic circuit. Remember what I am saying you, this is important. Practice it. If you are not understanding, revise it, because I am telling you the important ones only. So here, if I am telling it important, consider it as important. And yes, let us see what is it. Series magnetic circuit and parallel magnetic circuit is there. Firstly, you have to draw the diagram. So series magnetic circuit you can draw. If you are drawing without air gap, then draw of without air gap for both. And if you are drawing for with air gap, as I have drawn over here, so for both you have to draw with air gap. Okay, so consider these two diagrams. And now the second point, you have to write about definition. Then what is series magnetic circuit? You have to define it. So it is the magnetic circuit with only one path for flux. There is only one path. Series is there. In parallel, it is magnetic circuit with multiple paths for flux. Okay, diagram. Then we have to define what we have to define, like one path and here multiple path. Remember like this. Okay. The third point, only 5 points of it are there. Third, flux is same in all parts of the circuit because it is series, and here in parallel flux is different in different parts of the circuit. Then write about reluctance. Total reluctance S is equal to S1 plus S2, and here total reluctance is 1 upon S is equal to 1 upon S1 plus 1 upon S2. Now write about MMF F1 F2, and here FC plus F1. FC is the MMF of center, remember. So here we have to just write the formula which we have derived. Okay, so just remember this. So this was the important topic, that is series magnetic circuit and parallel magnetic circuit difference. 5 points are asked, so this question will be for 5 or 6 marks. Now let us go to this topic, that is force on current carrying conductor in magnetic field. We have learned this all, like Fleming's left hand rule, then right hand thumb rule, all the same things are there because first chapter is nothing but your basics only. So here I have shown you the Fleming's left hand thumb rule, in which our fist will show the flux and thumb will show the direction of force and the middle finger will show the current. Okay, so this was about Fleming's left hand thumb rule. And why I have told you about this, because this derivation comes like for magnitude of force experienced by the conductor of this current carrying conductor in magnetic field. So these 3 cases are important, and more than the cases, these formulas are important because a 6 mark question is asked, which I have kept further, that is based on these 3 formulas only. Believe me, they are very simple. We have learnt them. Just remember this formula, F is equal to BIL sin theta. Okay, this is B is magnetic flux density, I is current, L is length of, and S sin theta is the angle. Okay. So the first one, case 1, we have to consider theta as 0. So remember the formula, as we are keeping theta as 0, sin theta is 0, the whole force will become 0, and this will be the parallel condition for it. So F will become 0 in case number 1. Then case 2, you have to consider theta as 90 degree. Just put it in the formula, sin 90 is 1, so we will get F is equal to BIL. So this will be the condition for perpendicular. Then case 3, at an angle, so the formula will be the same, just substitute the angle. So F is equal to BIL sin theta. Okay. So this is the conductor when it is inclined to an angle. Now just remember this, and here is the question. See, very simple question, and yes, it is the PYQ. So what is the question? Let us see. A conductor of length 10 centimeter. Length is given, converted into meter, 10 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Carrying 5 ampere of current. I is given. It is placed in uniform magnetic field of flux density is given. Flux density is given. Remember, B is 1.25 Tesla. Find the work acting or find the force acting on conductor if it is placed along the lines of magnetic flux, perpendicular to line of flux, and at 30 degree to the flux. So the first case, I have told you the case for parallel, it is theta is every time 0. So F will be equal to 0. BIL sin theta is the formula. Write the formula and write as sin theta. Theta is 0, sin theta will be 0, and the force will become 0 Newton. Then second, theta is 90. Why? It is perpendicular. So just substitute what are the values. B is 1.25, I is 5, L is 10 into 10 raised to minus 2, and sin theta is 1. So what will be your answer? 0.625 Newton. Similarly, as the third case is given, theta is 30. So by formula BIL sin theta, you will get 1.25 into 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 into sin 30. Sin 30 is 0.5. Just multiplied by 0.5, you will get 0.3125 Newton. Simple, easy. You will get 6 marks in this numerical. So don't forget to remember these small things, and these small formulas are only going to give you the marks. Okay. So let us go ahead. Now here Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. What are the 2 laws of Faraday's? These are also asked. This is also a very popular question, you can say. So just remember these both laws and the derivation for second law. It is very simple. Just concentrate on the definition. You can write it. The first law, it is whenever flux linked with the coil changes, EMF is induced in the coil. We have this concept in 12th standard also. So law 1 is nothing but whenever flux linked with the coil changes, EMF is induced in the coil. Second law is when magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linkage. See, many a times flux linkage, such a term is given in the numerical. So that time you have to consider phi into N. See, I have written here flux linkage. If initial flux linkage is there, you can write phi 1 into N, and here in bracket I have written flux linkage is phi into N. Flux magnetic flux into number of turns. Okay. So this is a very important, remember this flux linkage. So for defining the law number 2, that is magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux linkage. So as I am saying you, induced EMF is directly proportional. So here E is the induced EMF, it is directly proportional to rate of change of flux linkage. So what is flux linkage? I have told you it is phi into n, just substitute over it. But as we are considering two things, that is initial and final flux, we have to write the formula as E is directly proportional to phi 2 n minus phi 1 n. Keep number of turns as the same, as we are using the same conductor, upon dt. So it will become E is directly proportional to, take n common, you will get phi 2 minus phi 1 upon dt. And as we are removing the proportionality sign, just add the constant, that is k, and write that k is equal to 1. So E will be equal to n d phi by dt. So here your proof of second law is completed. So this is nothing but the very important topic, that is Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Now come to the next topic, that is Lenz's law. This question, or this you can say the formula and definition, is asked for 3 marks. I have written over here. So we all know what we have to write. If we have learnt what is the second law, as it is E is equal to n d phi by dt, here Lenz's law is nothing but just opposite in sign. So you can write E is equal to n d phi by dt by second law of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Just write minus over there and write the definition. That is the direction of induced EMF produced due to the process of electromagnetic induction is always such that it will set up a current to oppose the basic cause responsible for inducing EMF. So this is the definition for Lenz's law. So just as it is opposing the current, so we are writing minus sign over there. So this is the formula for Lenz's law. Now depending on the method, EMF, induced EMF is classified into two, that is dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. This is new topic. So the difference in both of these is as well, like write the similarities and difference and all. So I have kept it further. So for the time, just remember there are two methods, dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. So here magnitude of dynamically induced EMF is find out like this, like two magnets are there, north south, in between flux lines are there and conductor is kept. So if it is parallel, there 0 volt is there, perpendicular, then E is equal to n d phi by dt as it is there. Phi will become B into A. Here it will become this formula, and as A is L into dx, that is area length into dx. So it will become d phi is equal to B into L into dx. So if we put this in equation number 1, what is our equation number 1? E is equal to n d phi by dt. Here we have talked about d phi. So d phi is equal to B into A is different, and E is equal to n d phi by dt is different. Just substitute this in equation number 1, you will get n into B into L into dx by dt. Now by keeping number of turn as 1 and dx by dt as V, we will get E is equal to BLV volt. See, this derivation is not important. Just this formula is important, that is E is equal to BLV, but this is important, BLV sin theta, which is of angle. This question is also asked, the one I have told you now, that is F is equal to BIL sin theta, and this E is equal to BLV sin theta. Don't get confused in both of these equations. Write it in on a page and just remember what is the difference in them. Okay. Now let us see what is self-inductance in 3 different ways. Here this is very important topic. Write in your notebook if you have. This derivation is very important because it is asked many a times, like define self-inductance in 3 different ways, because we have to give 3 different formulas for self-inductance. So by writing this question's answer, the first thing you have to do is you have to write the definition of self-inductance. What is self-inductance? It is the property of the coil to oppose the current. So this, just write this self-inductance definition first and then come to the step. Just write phi is directly proportional to I, that is magnetic flux is directly proportional to current. See, I will make you remember this formula, just concentrate. Phi is directly proportional to current is your first step. Now as the proportionality sign is there, constant will be added. So phi will be equal to k into I. Now just rearrange the formula, k will be equal to phi by I. Okay, now denote it as 1 or A. Now the same formula, d phi by dt. we are just rearranging the formula. Remember, as phi is equal to k into I na, just write it in derivation form or derivatives form. So d phi by dt is equal to k into di by dt. We are not giving d by dt to k because it is constant, remember. So d phi by dt is equal to k into di by dt. This is your second equation. What will happen over here? See, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, we have understood E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. This is the step which we have to remember. According to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the Lenz's law formula, which is E is equal to minus n d phi by dt, you have to write, just substitute this d phi by dt value in this. You will get E is equal to minus n k into di by dt, because d phi by dt is k into di by dt, the second equation. Okay, now this k, just substitute this value, which is the first equation. So k is equal to phi by I. Put this also. You will get E is equal to minus n phi by I into di by dt. Okay. Now this n phi by I is nothing but your self inductance. So substitute it by L and you will get E is equal to minus L di by dt, and L, which is the formula, very first formula you got, as we have to derive three formulas. The first formula here we got L is equal to n phi by I. Okay, this is self inductance. Now we have to define it in three ways. The first we got, just write its unit, that is Henry. Now the second, you have to start from phi, as phi is equal to mmf upon S. We all know the first formula of reluctance, which is mmf upon phi. Just rearrange it, you will get phi is equal to mmf upon S. mmf is ni upon S. Now just put this phi value, that is ni upon S, in the first, that is L is equal to n phi by I, which is the first formula for self inductance. So you will get phi is equal to ni by S. So as you put the value of this, you will get L n by I, n into ni by S. I will get cancelled and you will get L is equal to n square by S. So this is the second formula for self inductance. Okay, just substitute the phi, that is ni by S, in this first one. Now the third is, put value of S in second, that is S is reluctance. Now we have to substitute the second formula of reluctance, that is L upon mu naught mu r A. Just put it in the second, that is L is equal to n square by S. So if we put it, we will get L is equal to n square into mu naught mu r A upon L. It will get reciprocal, right? So these are nothing but the two formulas of self inductance. So remember, this question is very important. You have to start with the definition, then you have to write about the property, that it is a property of coil to oppose change in current. Then you have to start with phi is directly proportional to I. Then you have to write that as it is directly proportional, k you have to add as constant. Then k is equal to phi by I. So d phi by dt is equal to k into di by dt, and just remember this both as A and B, and then you have to substitute it in E is equal to minus n d phi by dt, which has come according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Just we will get the first, that is L is equal to n phi by I, and just by substituting phi is equal to ni by S in the first equation, you will get the second formula for self inductance, that is n square by S, and the third, just by putting S is equal to L upon mu naught mu r A, that is second formula of reluctance, you will get L is equal to n square into mu naught mu r A upon L. So okay, now here the numerical is there on this topic, that is find induced EMF in the coil having inductance of 0.15 Henry. So here L is given 0.15 Henry. Now the two things we have to calculate, that is first is current of 10 ampere in the coil is switched off in 0.01 second. See, focus on these types of questions, these are frequently asked. The first case is current is I1 is given 10 ampere, and then it is said that it is switched off. So I2 will become 0 ampere, remember, as it is switched off, I2 will become 0 ampere, and then rate of change of time, that is dt, is given to us 0.01 second. Now we all know the formula, that is E is equal to minus L di by dt. Just substitute it. L is 0.15 given to us, minus sign is there, remember, and di, that is I2 minus I1, so that is 0 minus 10. See what we all do, we write I1 minus I2. So just focus, I am telling the mistakes that you can do. So here you have to focus that you have to write I2 minus I1, maybe I2 is less. Okay, so here as I2 is less, 0 minus 10 upon 0.01, that is dt. Just calculate, you will get E, that is 150 volt. Then second case given to us is same current is uniformly reversed in 0.01 second. Now if this word came like uniformly reversed, you have to just minus that current, that is I1 is 10 ampere, just write I2 as minus 10 ampere. So dt is same, we have to use the same formula, and just here minus 0.15 into minus 10 minus 10, that is it will become minus 20 upon 0.01, you will get E as 300 volt. I hope you felt it very simple. Now let us go ahead and let us see what is the difference in dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. So here it is the difference, and this is also a very important question which is asked in exam. So just remember the parameters and you can write it. So in dynamically induced EMF, you have to write the principle. So an EMF is induced due to physical movement of either conductor or flux. Remember, EMF when it is induced due to physical movement, either the conductor is moving or the flux is the generation of flux is in different direction, that type of EMF when it is produced, it is called as dynamically induced EMF. And in statically induced EMF, when EMF is induced due to the change in flux linked with the coil. Here movement of flux is there, don't get confused. In statically induced EMF, change in flux linked with the coil, the flux is only changing which is linked with the coil. So that is why the EMF is produced in statically induced EMF. The second, you have to draw the diagram as a setup. So here only north south pole you have to show, and in between conductor you have to show, and as we have studied mutual inductance, yes, it is there in this also. So just draw that diagram as in one conductor current is moving and other conductor EMF is inducing because of the current in the first coil. Okay, this was the setup, and the more points you can write like about movement of either coil or magnet. So in dynamically induced EMF, either coil moves or the magnet moves physically, remember, and in the statically induced EMF, neither coil nor magnet moves physically. Then fourth point, current through the magnet producing flux. Current, how the current is there, so it could be constant in dynamically induced EMF, but it must vary with respect to time for induction of EMF in statically induced EMF. Then fifth point, you can write the expression of induced EMF. So E is equal to BLV sin theta in dynamically induced EMF, and E is equal to minus L di by dt or N d phi by dt in statically induced EMF. Then you have to write about the applications. This dynamically induced EMF is used in DC generators or induction motors which are operate on this principle. And the second, for statically induced EMF, remember only transformer. Okay, so transformer works on the principle of statically induced induction. So this was the important topic which I have told you. The comparison I have kept further. So this is the comparison. Remember this as an important one. Now let us go further. Now here I have kept one more numerical for you to practice. The question is, if a coil of 150 turns is linked with the flux of 0.0 Weber. So N is given 150, flux that is phi is given 0.01 Weber. Now when carrying current is also given 10 ampere, we have to calculate the induced EMF. Two conditions are there. Now if this current is uniformly reversed, now I have told you when uniformly reversed this word comes, you have to just minus the current in I2. So as I1 is 10 ampere, the case 1, the I2 will become minus 10 ampere, and the time as time here is given 0.1 second, you have to take that, and E is equal to minus L di by dt is the formula. Just L is N phi by I. Now L is not given to us, but phi is given, that is phi and N is given. So with the help of that we can find out self inductance, that is N phi by I is the formula for self inductance. Just substitute these values, you will get L is equal to 0.15 Henry. Now use the formula for getting EMF, that is minus 0.15 into minus 10 minus 10, as I2 is minus 10 and I1 is 10, just minus them, and dt is 0.1. Finally you will get E as 30 volt. Now what is the second condition? If this current is interrupted in 0.05 seconds, that means what? See how you can take the condition. Case 2, I1 is 10 ampere but I2 will be 0 ampere. Why? The interrupted word is used. Interrupted means switched off. Okay, so here your I2 will become 0 ampere, but here the change in time is there 0.05 seconds. So you will get E is equal to minus 0.15, that is L. L will be same, and just multiply by 0 minus 10 upon 0.05, you will get the same, that is 30 volt. Okay, I hope you are getting the numericals also. Just practice such types of numericals only and you will be clearing the concept. Now let us come to the topic of mutual inductance. What is mutual inductance? We have studied. It is the EMF induced in the coil due to change in current in neighboring coil, and it is called as mutually induced EMF. This is PYQ, which we have to find out. Mutually induced EMF, we have to derive the coefficient of coupling and all. So we will see that. So here the very first thing which you have to write in your answer is the definition of mutual induction. That is the EMF induced in the coil due to change in current in the neighboring coil, and it is called as mutually induced EMF. Now how you can write the derivation? See. First you have to consider I1 and Phi1, that is current and flux of coil 1, and I2 and Phi2, the current and flux for coil 2. Now see, if you have understood self-inductance topic which I have told you now and explained you now, so then you are going to get this topic very easily, because the same thing is following here also. So I1 is nothing but current, and Phi1 is the flux of for coil 1, and similarly for Phi2. Here mutually induced EMF we are talking about. It is very important for all of us to draw this diagram. In this diagram you can see two conductors are there. In only one conductor the current is flowing, and on the other conductor galvanometer is kept, that is current is inducing in that or not. So EMF is induced in that. So how it is done? See this diagram. If you want you can take the screenshot also. Coil 1, coil 2 is there, E1, E2, then the flux is there. The flux, how the magnetic field lines are going in the coil 2, and the current is inducing in that. So here you have to draw this diagram, and then you have to start your derivation. How you will start? You will write Phi2 is directly proportional to I1. That is magnetic flux of second coil is directly proportional to the current of the first coil. Okay, that is mutual inductance. Now I have to replace the proportionality sign by constant. We will write Phi2 is equal to K I1. Now K will become Phi2 upon I1, same procedure, and d phi2 by dt will equal to k into di1 by dt. These two main equations. Now the same, you have to use E2 is equal to minus n2 d phi2 by dt. That is the equation given by Faraday's second law. Okay, by Lenz's law the minus sign is there. Now you have to consider this, that you have to write this equation for second coil. So here I have written E2 is equal to minus n2 d phi2 by dt. Now which is equal to n2. Now d phi2 value, see the second equation, that is k into di by I1 by dt. Just substitute it. You will get the E2 as minus n2k d I1 by dt. This is by 2. Now minus n2, the value of k you have to substitute over here, that is Phi2 upon I1. So you will get minus n2 into Phi2 upon I1 into di1 by dt. Now this is nothing but the mutual inductance, that is n2 Phi2 upon I1. So this is your mutual inductance. You can write it as M is equal to n2 Phi2 upon I1. Remember, as if you are writing the formula also of our numericals, that is of mutual inductance, you have to remember both the components in the numerator are for second coil and current is of first coil. So this is M is equal to n2 Phi2 upon I1. Now the same procedure if you follow as of self inductance, you will get these two formulas also. That is M is equal to N1 N2 upon S1, and M is equal to N1 N2 mu naught mu R A upon L1. You can derive this. See, this question of deriving three different formulas of mutual inductance is not that much important, but the further topic, that is coefficient of coupling, is very important in this mutual inductance. So I have not derived this three equations completely. The only first I have derived. So just take this use of self inductance derivation and you can write this. Okay. So if you have understood that also now, in exams you will be able to write these two formulas also. So now, as I have told you, coefficient of coupling is the important topic. This is there. So for that you have to write the definition first for mutual inductance, and then you have to start with the diagram and then write what is I1, I1, I2, Phi2, and start with this equation, and till M is equal to N2 Phi2 upon I1. That is the first equation of mutual inductance. You have to follow the same steps. Now the things what you have to write for coefficient of coupling here. The first equation, as I got, M is equal to N2 Phi2 upon I1. Now the second consideration which I have to take is Phi2 is directly proportional to Phi1. Okay. Remember, Phi2 is directly proportional to Phi1. Before we took Phi2 is directly proportional to I1. Now here, as Phi2 is directly proportional to I1, as I removed the proportionality sign, I got Phi2 is equal to K1 into Phi1. And for coil 2, if I have to write, now here just substitute this Phi2 value, that is K1 into Phi1, in the first equation. I will get M is equal to N2 into K1 into Phi1 in place of Phi2 upon I1. So this I have written for coil number 2, as number of turns are 2. number of turns I have written N2 now, so that is for coil 2, and if N1 I am taking and K2 phi 2 is there and I2 is there, so as number of turns are for N1, this will be the mutual inductance for coil 1. So for both coil 2 and coil 1 you have to write the same equation like this, and the very important step, you have to now multiply this 2 and 3 equation. What you will get? M square is equal to K1 into K2, N1 into N2, phi1 into phi2 upon I1 into I2. Now by rearranging this equation, by keeping K1, K2, that is the constant term, now N1 phi1 upon I1, that is for coil 1 components and coil 2 components you have to keep along with each other. So N1 phi1 upon I1 into N2 phi2 upon I2. Now what is this? Remember, N phi upon I is self inductance. Yes, so it is L, denoted by L, and just substitute it. So M square will become K1 K2 into L1 into N2. Now as this is a constant, so K square we will take L1 into N2. Now taking K square on the left hand side and keeping all the components on right hand side, we will get M square upon L1 into L2, and by taking the square root we will get K is equal to M upon under root of L1 into L2, and this is nothing but your coefficient of coupling. This is 5-star question I can say, and very important question. So just before going to exam, if your exam is tomorrow, write this derivation 1 or 2 times, so you will be perfect in it. Okay, so this is the procedure what you have to write for mutual inductance. First you have to write the coefficient, like here I have tell about current, and then you have to write the definition, then you have to write the diagram, and by taking this consideration you can find the first formula, that is M is equal to N2 phi 2 upon I1, and then coming to this step, that is phi 2 is directly proportional to phi 1, you will multiply these both for coil 2 and coil 1, and as N phi by I is L substituted, and K will be equal to M upon under root L1 into L2. So this is the coefficient of coupling. Now let us see some numericals. This is also a PYQ, very important PYQ. Two coils A and B have self-inductance of 120 microhenry and 300 microhenry. So L1 and L2 is given. Micro is 10 raised to minus 6, so don't remember to convert it. So then current is given 2 ampere in coil A, produces flux linkage. Now when I was explaining you about flux linkage, I told you that some numericals contains flux linkage. That time you will get confused like what is flux linkage. So remember, it is phi into N, that is magnetic flux into number of turns. So here I have written here flux linkage, that is phi 2 into N2. Okay, it is given to us, that is 200 micro Weber turns. So we will write 200 into 10 raised to minus 6 Weber turns in coil B. Now the three things they have told us to calculate. First is mutual inductance, then coefficient of coupling, and average EMF. So let us first write or calculate what is mutual inductance. So we all know the formula of mutual inductance. It is N2 phi 2 upon I1. Okay, we have derived it now. So N2 is given to N2 and phi 2 both. Flux linkage is given altogether to us, that is 200 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon I is given 2. Just divide them, you will get 10 raised to minus 4 Henry, and this is your mutual inductance. Then second, coefficient of coupling is there. We all know the formula, K is equal to M upon under root L1 into N2. Just put all the values. M is 10 raised to minus 4, we have found out. Now L1 and L2 substitute, you will get the K as 0.5270. Okay, then third thing asked to us is average EMF induced in coil B when current in coil A is switched off. Now switched off is there, so I2 will become 0 ampere, and dt is given as 0.05 seconds. So here the formula will become E2 is equal to minus M di1 by dt. As if self inductance is given, we will take minus L di by dt, but here mutual inductance is given, or we have find out, we know that, so we will write minus M d by I1 by dt. Okay, now here I2 minus I1 will be the concept, so minus 10 raised to minus 4, 0 minus 2 upon 0.05, we will get E2 as 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 volt. So this question was asked in a paper for 6 marks. So just you have to remember the formula, and all things are given. What is there to remove their answers, right? So this is the numerical. So you can consider this. Now we are coming to the end of the chapter. The very important topic is there, that is energy stored in the magnetic field or inductor. See, in the second unit you have energy stored in capacitor. But don't get confused in both of them. Here we are talking about energy stored in inductor, or question can come like energy stored in magnetic field. So what things you have to consider? Remember, this is the diagram. If you are not understanding, leave it. Just a conductor is there and magnetic field lines I have shown over there. Then I have made the magnetic circuit there. Okay. So what is happening? Remember, the first thing, Due to change in current, EMF is induced due to self-inductance, we all know. So this self-induced EMF which is there, it will always oppose the current. So to overcome this opposition, here you can see in the diagram, this source is there, SW I have written. So source V has to provide some energy to the circuit so that self-induced EMF will not oppose current that much. So to overcome this opposition, this is the energy which is required to establish flux, and it is the energy which is stored in magnetic field, or we can say inductor. So how we can derive it? Let us consider if the current flowing through the coil increases by di amperes and dt seconds, self-induced EMF in the coil is given by. This is the starting of your derivation, that is this formula, E is equal to minus L di by dt volt. Remember this formula. Then you have to substitute, see what I am saying you, amount of source voltage to overcome the induced EMF, that is source voltage. So V is there, just replace and substitute, I can say it with minus E. Remember minus E volts. So here energy supplied by the source and stored by the coil during time t. Remember this formula of energy, which is power into time. Remember this formula, that is power into time. Now what is power? Power is V into I, voltage into current, right? And time replace it by dt. Now here I have told you that you have to replace V by minus E. So just put V is equal to minus E in this equation, and you will get E, that is energy, equal to minus E into I into dt. Okay, but we all know the formula, that is by Faraday's law, E is equal to minus L di by dt, right? Now so this energy, you have to substitute E in this equation, that is minus L di by dt. Substitute in the equation which I have told you, E is equal to minus E into I into dt. So if we substitute it in, we will get E is equal to L di by dt into I into dt is as it is. Now dt will get cancelled, and we will get L into di into I joules. Now here current changes from 0 to I, so we will integrate our energy from 0 to I. The total energy stored we will get. So here L is constant, here we are we will take I as the coefficient. So I square by 2 will be the integration of it from 0 to I. Then we will get L by 2, I square minus 0. So the final energy stored in inductor is 1 by 2 Li square joules. So this is important equation. So what you have to remember here, you have to remember this formula, E is equal to minus L di by dt. Then you have to remember that you have to replace V by minus E, and you have to mainly recall this, that energy is equal to power into time, and power is V into I. Just by substituting minus E and by putting E value in this same equation, you will get this, E is equal to L into di into I joules, and then energy stored in the equation you will get by the integration from 0 to I, and that is L equal to I square by 2, and just by putting the values of initial and final, you will get 1 by 2 Li square joules. This is the energy stored in inductor. I hope you are clear with this. Now let us go to the last topic, that is energy stored per unit volume. Okay, so how we can consider it? See, we have to start with the energy stored in inductor formula, that is, we have derived now only, that is E is equal to 1 by 2 Li square. Now we have to substitute. See, what I have to substitute? L, that is self inductance, as we all know its formula, L is equal to N phi by I. So we have to substitute it in. So what we will get? E is equal to 1 by 2 into N phi by I into I square. Now I will get cancelled. We will get 1 by 2 N phi I joules. Now here, as the formula is 1 by 2 N into phi into I, here Ni term is there. So we all know what is Ni. Ni is mmf. The other formula for mmf is H into L, that is electric field intensity into length. So here we will substitute Ni by H into L. Remember these steps, how you have to substitute step by step. Remember, first you have to substitute L, that is N phi by I. Then you got Ni in the in your equation. So just substitute Ni as H into L. So you will get E is equal to 1 by 2 HL into phi. Now what is phi? Magnetic flux. The very first formula, remember, phi is equal to B into A. So just substitute it here. So E will be equal to 1 by 2 HL into BA joules. Now what we all know, here we have to find out what is the topic. See, energy stored per unit volume. So energy we found out, but per unit volume also is important. So as L into A, here in this E is equal to 1 by 2 HL into BA. L and A is nothing but volume. So we will just replace it and we will take it to the left hand side. So it will get divided and we will get energy per unit volume. Remember, okay. So we will get energy per unit volume A upon L up into A, that is equal to 1 by 2 into H into B. So now as B is equal to mu into H, that is magnetic flux density, right? Then mu into h. Mu is our permeability and h is magnetic field intensity. So this is the relation. If any numerical arise, like is the comparison between magnetic field density and magnetic field intensity, that time use this formula, B is equal to mu into h. Now from here, as h is equal to B by mu, substitute this in the energy formula, you will get energy per unit volume as 1 by 2 mu, and h is B upon mu the whole square. So you will get 1 by 2 B square by mu joules per meter cube. This is your energy per unit volume. Till this also you are correct, and if you have to go ahead, like if you have to write for this, these two formulas are also important. So if the medium is air or any non-magnetic material, then mu is equal to mu naught, and since mu r is equal to 1, you can consider this B is equal to mu h. If you substitute it in the same equation, you will get 1 by 2 mu naught h square joules per meter cube, and also energy per unit volume. The same formula, if you rearrange them and substitute, you will get three different formulas, that is 1 by 2 B square by mu naught, the third one. So this is the this is all about energy stored per unit volume. So just you have to remember the steps, what all things you have to substitute step by step. So I hope you understood this. Let us see one numerical and conclude this chapter. So here we have a numerical, this is also a PYQ. So here it is said that an air cored toroid having 25 centimeter mean diameter. So diameter is given to us, that is 25 centimeter. So we will take 25 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Then length is given, that is length is not given. See, remember we have to calculate length from the diameter. So to calculate length from diameter, use the formula pi d, and you will get pi into 25 into 10 raised to minus 2. So you will get 78.54 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Then area of cross section is given in the question, that is 6.26 centimeter square. Now as we are taking all the values in meter, we will take this also in meter, that is 6.26 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter square. Then what is given? Cross sectional area bound uniformly with 1000 turns. The n is given and determine. Now three things are asked. So this question will be for 6 marks. So here first thing we have to find out inductance of toroid. So how we can find out inductance? L is equal to n square by s. So we will substitute s value over here, that is L upon mu naught mu r is the second formula, and we will get the value if you substitute. See, I have not done the calculations of this numerical, you have to try it by your own. Here if you substitute s value over here, you will get the value formula for L, and all the things are given in the data. If you substitute those, you will get L is equal to 1 millihenry. Okay. Similarly, second here, EMF induced in coil when current is increasing at the rate of 200 ampere per second. That time you have to calculate by this formula as minus L di by dt. You will by substituting all the values, you will get minus 0.2 volt. Then third, energy stored in its magnetic field when coil carries current of 10 ampere. Then you have to just use this energy stored formula, as energy is there. So 1 by 2 Li square, and I is given as 10 ampere. If you calculate by putting all the values of self inductance and current, you will get 0.05 joules. So I hope you understood how to use the formulas, how to derive it. I have also explained how to remember the formulas, how to remember the derivations, their steps and all. So if you want to learn also, if you are studying first time also, you will be familiar with all the concepts in this chapter. Okay, so here I end this chapter, and thank you very much for joining and keeping your attention till the end of the video. So thanks for watching for now, and if you have liked my video, please like it and subscribe it and share with your friends. Thanks for watching for now.